Hi, Amanda. Let me just
Hey, Kevin.
get my video going. Okay, now you see me, you hear me, right?
I can't.
Can't hear me yet?
Oh, I can hear you. That was me.
Okay, cool. All right. So now I just have to make sure that Salieu knows how to join us. He has everything he needs,
Okay.
but I just have to make sure that he follows the link and actually goes, because if he follows the link I give him, then there's another link. So, he has to make sure my original, okay, good. I have original sound on. And
Let
I'm
me
gonna
see.
I'm gonna text him right quick.
Okay.
Because I was actually in touch with him earlier today, so he definitely has the links. You
Okay,
know,
great.
that issue is solved. Now the question is whether he's actually gone on the links and registered. But for it's really quick because as soon as you register, you get the link, boom, right away.
Yes, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people wait till the last minute to register,
Yeah,
which
and
gave me a heart attack the first time, but I think that's just the way the world works now is
right,
people
right, right. People. I'm calling Sally right now, and just
he's not registered.
he's not. Yeah, all he has to do is because the link I gave him will take him immediately to us as long as he puts his email address in.
Yep.
He doesn't even have to go to his email and get his email from. He'll come immediately straight into this meeting. Um, so, but he did agree that 7 o'clock was his time.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. I think he's speaking. Hey, Sal, how you doing? So did you follow that link to join us? Okay, cool. All you have to do is put your email address in, and then you should be led directly to a link for this meeting. Yeah, just put your email address in the fill out because there's some boxes you have to fill out. All right. Yep.
Oh, I'm going to pause our recording.
Okay. It's okay because I
There we go. All right.
yeah.
I'm going to do that again. Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Amanda Hopper, and I am the Community Arts Manager at Goddard Riverside. And I have the pleasure of introducing Kevin Nathaniel and Afro Roots this evening with special guest Salieu Suso. And before we get started this evening, I just want to go over a few housekeeping things with you guys. You saw me with Zoom right there. So just to let you know, in our new virtual environment here, everyone can mute themselves. If you look, you move your mouse a little bit, there's a banner at the bottom of your screen, and there's a microphone there. You can mute and unmute yourselves, and the artists will ask you to do that throughout the show when they want you to join in, when it's interactive. So they'll signal you when you should be muted, when you should unmute yourselves. And also we are you should be in gallery view right now. That's where everyone's kind of in a Brady Bunch box there. You can also do speak view, and we'll be spotlighting the artists as they perform. So you'll be able to see them on the big screen, as it were. Last but not least, we'll be giving some information in the chat. So I hope I'm pointing in the right direction here, but the chat, and if anyone needs to communicate, they need any tech help, anything like that, you can send me a message privately. You can chat with the rest of our lovely audience here. So with no further ado, let's get the fun started. Everyone, Afro Roots with Kevin Nathaniel.
Yay! Okay, I'm gonna thank everyone for coming out today for Afro Roots Tuesdays. It's such a pleasure to be here. It's such a pleasure to invite you into your own home to enjoy Afro Roots Tuesday. We've been going on for so many years now, and we actually prided ourselves on bringing some of the most incredible live music and some of the most incredible live music events that you could experience in New York City. And now we're shifting that pride over to bringing you some of the most incredible live, right online experiences. So we're live streaming always here at Afro Roots with some of the really most incredible artists in New York City. Um, and today we're especially happy because we have an artist who I have the utmost respect for, and I've worked with many occasions, had the pleasure of working with on many occasions, Salieu Suso, kora master. And he's a very special voice on the kora because, you know, not many kora players understand so many worlds Salieu understands. He understands the worlds of traditional kora music, but he also understands the worlds of jazz and hip hop and the worlds of that have been created over here in this part of Africa across the water, which is the African American world. He understands those worlds, which are so important, so key if you're a kora player in today's world, you know, to be able to merge and bring those worlds together and be able to speak on both those in both those worlds, to have your feet in the door, so to say, in those occasions. Um, so it's really special to have Salieu. His knowledge, his experience on kora is deep. It's extremely deep. He's been playing kora since he was a very young boy, and in the country of Gambia. And Gambia is, by the way, a very deep country for kora players. If you are a kora player from the Gambia, you are in the very uh, very serious competition of the choral world. I'll put it that way. Right now, I'm getting some feedback and I'm getting an echo. Amanda, do you know what that is?
I'm going to hop in and mute people for now. So if you see that on
Okay.
your screen, that's me doing that. Thank you all.
Okay. Yeah. Because I'm hearing myself talk back to myself. So it's stopped though. Thank goodness. Um, so anyway, as I said, I'm so happy to have Salieu Suso here with us on kora. Now, I'm going to also tell you that kora is a very ancient instrument. It comes from Western Africa, but it has even more ancient roots than that. So a lot of you see a lot of history book, this history book on this, history book on kora. Somebody will carbon date it. The instrument is very ancient. People tell you it goes back to 12th, 13th century, but it's more ancient than that. There are forms of the kora that date back to ancient Egypt. And actually, at some point, there was a mass migration, a mass wave of people who left ancient Egypt and went over to West Africa, carrying a lot of traditions and culture from ancient Egypt that date back thousands of years, right into the West African world. So a lot of some of these instruments that you see that are flourishing in ancient West African culture actually have uh, ties to even more ancient culture as a result of migration from Egypt that happened um, well over 1,000, maybe 2,000, whatever years ago. It happened quite a long time ago, a mass migration. And Salieu Suso can probably tell you a little bit more about that than even I can. But there's an immense web of instrumentation and artistry out of Africa that is connected. Africa is not a situation where people are isolated from each other. So you don't have a development of one instrument that didn't affect or didn't influence instruments in other parts of Africa, or somehow wasn't influenced by music from other parts of Africa. So kora, as I said, is a very ancient instrument. So even though you will hear in the common lore that it's 13th century, it's more ancient than that. And many of the songs and many of the music probably, I'd say probably do date from earlier eras, do date from earlier musical environments. And so it's a weave, it's a flow when you deal with these ancient instruments out of Africa. And yes, these instruments do predate, they do predate harps. They're the roots of harps, they're the roots of guitars, they're the roots of these kinds of instruments. Choras, a long time ago, Salieu will tell you, were made with strings of an animal gut, and later they became fashioned with nylon strings because the nylon material was more accessible at a certain point. But yeah, these are things to understand about kora, and that kora music has many different phases. It's not just an instrument that people use for entertainment. It's an instrument that also has phases of shamanic use and other uses too. Um, and if you were to hear kora in a state of maybe several hundred to 1,000 years ago of just acoustic and the several choras playing together, it's a sound that would definitely take you into a deep trance. So to get an understanding of what this instrument is, it's got rich ties to healing and healing, musical healing, as many instrument styles in Africa do have ties to music healing, because of course music healing is very much a part of the African traditions of music. In a lot of parts of Africa, uh, you there's literally no dividing line between a healing session, a doctor, and a musician. There's literally no place where one ends and one begins, and you can see that in many ceremony and medicinal uses uh, for any kind of field in Africa. So it's a really beautiful thing. It just shows you what happens when a culture is that ancient. When a culture is that ancient, then of course it predates music being a commodity, because music has been a commodity maybe for about 200, maybe 300 years. But prior to music being a commodity, that's something somebody goes and purchases, whether it be purchased on a sheet of paper, whether they purchase in a recording. Prior to that, then music all over the world, of course, had other purposes, and or should I say, larger purposes. And so to realize that music in its roots has always had larger purposes, which is why we know that there's that uh, Chinese character in which music and medicine look like very much the same character. So it all makes sense. It all ties together. Anyway, what I want to do now is welcome you to Afro Roots Tuesdays, and I also want to thank the people that make Afro Roots Tuesdays possible. I want to thank Susan Macaluso first and foremost. Susan Macaluso is the director of God at Riverside. Um, I don't know um, if she, well, I'll just say that she's the director because I know that there's celebrations going on about her moving into another position. Uh, but she's definitely the director of God at Riverside and for Burning Wall, where we are. And she has made this whole series possible. We began at where did we begin at? At the Bleecker Street at the Yippie Cafe many years ago, and the Yippie Cafe got bought up by developers. That whole building, and that whole building, they pushed all the cultural stuff out, and so Afro Roots Tuesdays was on the street trying to find a new venue way back in 2013. And we had a some sort of magical talk with Susan Macaluso, died at Riverside, in which we talked about something else. But then this issue got brought up, and she said, "Oh, bring the whole thing here to God at Riverside." And since that time, we did. We brought the whole thing to God at Riverside, and God at Riverside has only helped us elevate the whole thing. And so we thank Susan Macaluso for saving Afro Roots Tuesdays and lending the full support of God at Riverside to this music series. We're a music series, yes. We happen every other week, and we bring artists from all over the world to play this series. Right now, we're brought to you on Zoom because, of course, of the shutdown. And we do our best to give you the flavor of our live, interactive, the feeling that you're actually in touch with the artist, that you're actually hearing and feeling the artist. We try to give you that feeling right here on Zoom because that's the way we were doing it live all the time. I want to thank Gregory Cage. Gregory Cage is the sound man, musician extraordinary who's always been with Afro Roots Tuesdays from the very beginning. Gregory Cage might be joining us in the audience tonight, but you'll see more of Gregory Cage in the future for sure. Um, Now that we're on Zoom, we haven't been requiring as much tech assistance as far as the sound system or sound mixing. But eventually we may need that here on Zoom too, because we may want to actually, get this something special going on with the sound. We may want to have larger bands play at some point. Um, I want to thank also Amanda Harper. Amanda Harper is the first person you saw when you came on board with us. And Amanda is the one who's really organizing behind the scenes and helping this series and helping so many things that God at Riverside fly straight. So we are so thankful for the work of Amanda Hopper. So I want to thank, and of course, I want to thank you for coming to Afro Roots Tuesdays. We do this of, for, and by you. We don't exist without you. And we don't have a budget, so we totally exist by your word of mouth too. So if you tell other people about it and you post about it and you talk about what a great time you had checking out the music and dancing at home to Afro Roots Tuesdays, then it only helps us to grow and to help us to reach the people out there who really want to hear this kind of music and are wondering where to find it at. Um, this is the place. This is the music series that has been doing this work for years now. And we're here for you. We're here for everybody. We just want everybody to know that we're here. So thank you for knowing that we're here and for coming out and to join us today. If you are not on the mailing list, send an email to kevinandbira@hotmail.com. That way we will have you on the mailing list and we'll send you a flyer every time we get ready to do a show, which is every other week. And you'll get to know a little bit more and be a little bit more, have your ear to the ground a little bit more of what's happening here. Because Facebook and all those institutions, you never know when they're going to allow you to hear or know what we're doing. Sometimes we have artists, and this is something for you to know, sometimes we have artists that Facebook basically censors because they find that maybe what they're doing or what they're saying doesn't follow their status quo, whatever position on certain ideas. So now that you know that, that's even more one compelling reason to join the mailing list for Afro Roots Tuesdays because no one will censor our mailing list. We'll be able to get that information to you that's coming across here at Afro Roots Tuesdays. So before we go on, I'm always enjoy playing what I call the Mbira Call to Peace. And that's sort of a opening of energy here in which I play the Mbira to bring this joyful sound, so to speak, for the beginning. And this is, even though this is the Zoom, I still like for this energy to come across for everybody to enjoy. And this is an Mbira, by the way, and I'm going to play a song called Peace Chant. Amani Kwako means Peace be unto you. In Swahili. Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe, amani iwe, amani yo, yeah, yeah, yo, yeah. Feel the rhythm dancing in your heart. Feel the rhythm dancing in your heart. Feel the rhythm dancing in your heart. Feel the rhythm dancing, 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 dancing. Woo! Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe, amani iwe, amani. Yeah, yo, yeah, yo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, feel the rhythm dancing in your heart. Feel the rhythm dancing in your heart. Feel the rhythm dancing in your heart. Feel the rhythm dancing, dancing, dancing. Now I'm going to ask you, everybody out there in the Afro Roots Tuesday style, go ahead and unmute because I want you to join me with that chant. Amani iwe kwako. Here we go. Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe kwako. Yeah. Amani iwe kwako. Amani you, 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 you. Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe kwako. Amani you, yeah, you, yeah, you, yeah. Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe, amani iwe, amani you, you, yeah, you, yeah, yeah. Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe kwako. Amani you, yeah, you. Keep going. Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe kwako. Amani iwe, amani iwe, amani. Okay, this audience is primed and ready to experience the musical experience we're going to have today. And we want to welcome, but as we welcome, we do want you to mute though, because we want to hear everything Salieu says when he comes on. So please, everybody, mute those microphones again. And please, let's give a warm hand wiggle to welcome Salieu Suso. Salieu Suso, welcome, please.
Thank you. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Kevin, Nathaniel, and Afro Roots, Riverside Goddard, and all the audience. And thank you for coming out tonight. And so we're gonna have some traditional Zambian kora music. You know, the kora is a 21-string musical instrument made out of gourd or calabash or calabasa with a cow skin, rosewood, and the strings are nylon, the fishing line. So 21 string musical instrument, traditional African instrument. So people play these kind of instruments in Africa. It's called jali or griot. Entertainers, historian, storytellers, and entertainers. So tonight, I have some traditional songs for you and also some of the contemporary songs. So I'm going to start with a song called, a traditional song called Kelefa Ba. So Kelefa Ba is the first song of the kora. So any kora players play the kora, they have to start with the song called Kelefa Ba, which means the mastermind of the warfare. He's one of a great king back in the days during the empire of the Manding. It's called Kabu Empire. So the song was created by the Jali or Griot people because of his mighty king. So the first song of the Kora has to be on his name. Kelevazane, kelevazane, baria kelevazane. Kelemanyinde, kelemanyinde, badima fulala kelemanyinde. Manya bedona, sansan dala manya bedona. Yeah, Julubadala was a desert, Julubadala. Yeah, the Umbeta Julubamoila. Ulana Sala de Julubadala. Marol Bane, Sanzandala, Marol Bane. Dunia, dunia ni dunia ba dunia kala ba sana nyolle wali ya jamano ke dunia wali jamali banda wali jamali man ku ya mume wali dunia sille dunia do dunia nganya dunia taman damang ngan la bo nyan jodala nyan jol ziala nyan jol man kanjang jalam bukan sana sana nyan jol dunia kadija sigema small fama musa magam fama bingi fama musukuda fama baba gari sana dima baba lan sana dima na kamaro dima alaman ni solasi gana ni meki gala kube julo besabala dunia lo mandi padisane kema mariama boyan kema ulbe lasa ko berbali julubadala sate sarade julubadala sinyaro yanyamure sinyaro baba duare javita madubama sinyaro yanyamure sinyaro baba duare javita madubama sadare javita duare javita barimba duare javita ma jatoje damangani jatonya o mangani jatoja laila bekumala jatoma yumbera juloba palela jatoje jatoje laila bekumala jatoma alamadi ala jatola ye alamadi ala jatola yumbera juloba nalela jatoje mangani jatonya laila bekumala jatoma laila bekumala jatoma yumbera juloba nalela thank you.
That was a beautiful song, and I see people are saying that too in the chat. I think everybody agrees that's a beautiful song, Salieu.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Can you tell us what the song is saying? Because I imagine the lyrics are they Manding, or what's the language the
Yes,
lyrics.
Manding.
So can you tell us what basically, without being too detailed, but basically what the song is saying?
Basically, the song is, like I said at the beginning, Kelefa Ba. So the song is dedicated to the king by the name of the Kelefa Ba. The Kelefa is the name, the last name is Sani, Kelefa Sani. So the lyrics, that's the words that I was, singing about it. Juluba Tala, Sate Sarada Juluba Tala, which means the city chart is it's like a poetry that the words are very kind of, poetry. So it says they're praising him as a hero or as a wonderful person. So, and they tell him city charity would not hear this kind of instrument. The city charity means is someone in the family uh, who doesn't deserve any value. Because the person in the family who doesn't deserve any value. So that person cannot hear such a kind of music. So they tell him you are special, that's why you are hearing this kind of music. So, and then also I said, um, praise, his family, his lineage that they have inherited, a great family, and they should be proud of their family, lineage.
Beautiful. You know, what you said there too
Yeah.
is that as the first son of the Korah, it seems to underline or highlight the tradition of praise singing,
Yeah.
singing praise to whether it be people who've done well, or people who have been kind to everybody, or people who need support. It's a way of healing and to heal the society is to sing praise to people who have done good things because it helps to promote their good works and what they've done. And oftentimes, without there being some sort of other microphone going around doing that, then perhaps the core player is the microphone for the people. Can you talk about that praise singing?
Yeah. Praise singing is one of the traditional way of praising the people, especially important people. Uh, the most of the traditional songs are dedicated to important people, people like kings and queens, also public advocates, people that dedicate their life to their communities, their country, or their society. So they help. So most likely these songs are, for them also praise them as public leaders, as with their wonderful work that they provide to the communities. So
That's amazing.
most likely praising those kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a thread, and it's a tradition that has gone on for perhaps more than hundreds of years, perhaps thousands of years in parts of Africa. The
Thousands.
idea of praise singing, yeah, and praise singing being something that actually brings forward the stories so that the stories become a sort of a history, so that people know these things and pass it on from generation to generation. So in a way, it's a history. It's an unwritten history book.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful unwritten history book because if it's in the form of a song, then everybody can remember that, as opposed to reading chapters out of a book that maybe they might forget the next day.
That's right.
It's a very powerful way of setting some of the ideas into a system. The word would be mnemonic, a system by which people can memorize things, because the history of a people in a form of a song, in the forms of songs, is a far more memorable history than than a written form, which goes to say when people refer to West African history and realize that a lot of that West African history is in the form of songs. So
Yeah,
songs being actually the vehicle for learning and education, as opposed to the vehicle that many of us in the Western world might think to be a vehicle for education, reading, writing, whatever. You know, that actually music and songs might be the vehicle for history and education.
that's right. Because on that note, is even uh, date back in the days, you know, it used to call court griot.
Uh-huh.
Court griot is the griot that will open up the court before the court start. So in that way, whatever anxiety is in the heart of the king or the people that brought to the court. So when the griot open up the court with the music and singing, and then also by singing, praising the family that brought to the court, and also the family of the king. So that praise and singing will remind the king or the people in the court that, okay, so we have to think about what this griot was singing about before we rule the court. So that also
Wow.
back in those days, that helped to heal the wounded people, like someone who's been bring to the court with a very bad situation, but once they hear the praising songs, automatically they can feel better, and they can be able to say the words that comes out of their hearts.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's so important, because everybody has a long family history. If you're walking around the planet today, you definitely have a long family history. And no matter what family you come from, there are people in your family that did some powerfully good things. And those are the people that you need to be hearing about. Those are the people that someone needs to be singing to you about. Because if you're hearing about those people, if you're hearing songs about those people, then it means that the future progeny, the future generations will do better. They'll do better because they learned of the good works of their ancestors. And so it's such an important tradition, this praise singing that he's talking about. And this praise singing going back thousands of years, of course, that's very closely tied to religion too, to I imagine to Islam, but it's probably tied to even religions that predated Islam, the praise singing.
Yes, yes.
I would imagine so, yeah. Because of course, the kora. Um, Now, can you tell us what the relationship of the kora is? Is it closely tied to Islamic faith, or does the kora predate the arrival of Islam into West Africa?
Kora is a traditional, typical African instrument.
Yeah.
It was invented, during the time of the Islam, but it was, the information was out even before the Islam comes out of West Africa.
Uh-huh.
Because the first
Yeah.
the first person come with the information of the Kora was Mansa Musa.
Ah.
Mansa Musa Mansa Musa at that time, Mansa Musa was not Muslim. He was, he's Mansa Musa is a Jew.
Uh-huh.
So that time, he goes back and forth from Timbuktu, Mali, to Mecca.
Ah.
So he go back and forth, and that time he was, unbeliever. So he go with the, with the, what they call it, jujus.
Ah.
But after later on, that's a long story. So after later on, he become a Muslim. Then after he passed away, then the kora invented. But he prescribed. I mean, he talked about the kora before he passed away.
Right. Amazing. Amazing. Well, I want to ask you at this point, because we got a lot of deep information just there. Would you like to, I know at some point you're going to have to take a short break, but would you like to play another song before that short break comes up?
Sure.
Okay.
Now I'm going to play another traditional song called Kaira. Kaira, but this in this Kaira, because sometimes people get confused. Kaira, sometimes people play it in the Tomora, and people play it in the Sauta, and people play in the Silaba. So the kora has four different kind of tuning setup. Okay, the first tuning setup, that's a syllaba, the main road. So right now, I tune my kora to syllaba, the main road. So I'm going to play kaira in the syllaba. But sometimes you find people, from Mali, from Guinea, from Gambia, from Senegal, they most likely they play it in the Sauta setting. But this is a syllaba setting, kaira. So sometimes, young jellies, they get confused about, because the people that knows the kaira plays only Sauta, so they think you can only play it in Sauta, but you can also play it in the syllaba also. So this is called kaira in syllaba. So kaira means peace, love, joys, and blessings. Without peace, there's no love. Once we have peace in our mind, our society, then we feel love. So once we get love, then we feel joys. So here's a kaira, blessings, peace, love, and joy. Laila, 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 Uvena Tumale Kaira. Laila, 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 Uvena Tumale Kaira. Ite wole zinoro, narana ite wole zinoro. Ite wole zinoro, narana ite wole zinoro. Ah, magana jali sola ite wole zinoro. Barakela te sinola. Ele urala, إلى ولا رجليالا بسم الله جليالا رحمن جليالا الحمد لله رب العالمين تنتو بما زوي قدر الله كيرا 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 بلا مني كيرا زدو مني مومي أنا غدوا كيرو لا أفريكا غدوا كيرو لا نورثern أمريكا غدوا كيرو لا southern أمريكا غدوا كيرو لا أوروبا غدوا كيرو لا أستراليا غدوا كيرو لا Antarctica, South Pole, North Pole. Ngadua kairo la dunia kono. Aladala bali majabang. Corona virus nada. Ay kairo be janja modu nala. Ay mo wol silan di nyonya. Ay mo wol borin di nyoma. Aladala coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic. Aladala, alamat Allah jisma bumagang, ayapatan ni moduma jindunia kono. Walatin la kaira, aladua kaira la dunia. Masih wo manyimume. Aladala, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Mekara barangana jomane joma banama la milisawane pensal benia janyo dia dala adala nimfa marasa wane wuluda Jamane jama fanadala mamar sengor asana na jallu kema asana to bari kema mamar jallu mamar sengori dunia wabba dunia jongana baka jamma jambeni dalungang ala dalla dunia da sobe yalla braba bana sobe yalla fananade kalimo da kalikan tilimam botiligamu mege jambeni tili ala dalla bangana jambanama kobazize mariama turegema fabibama azalubama fatabama jalabama tilabama alanala lamin ke sanyang jalan paman taba goring kumbal ni goring dabalu wadala besir baba sanyang kilila nangim mandin dimma babun jadimma jara si kunda janyo dia dala tuwa ba fama fadu fama kadike ma tulumbai adane kasia sanya wuluda kara padangana jama panama mekaira padangana giga jama panama marafan dambajang banna Latana tambayan na maraban tambayang. Maraban tambayang wala nila sa tambayang wuluta. Anin di baga tambayang wuluta. Anin gilaba tambayang wuluta. Anin sabi tambayang wuluta. Layla, 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 layla. Kubena tumanala, gaya. Thank you.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, Salieu. You know, everybody was feeling that song.
All right.
And I don't know how many people out there speak Manding, but some of us caught some English there. One of the lyrics you said referred to pandemic. And can you tell us what you were saying at that point?
You know, I was thinking about kara because kara literally means peace. You know, so we all need peace in this present time because of the coronavirus, the way the coronavirus treating the people in the universe. Because coronavirus come, you know, not only one country, but, you know, the whole world feel the, you know, pandemic and feel the pain. So, and Kaira is a song of the peace. And so I'm asking coronavirus to be peace with us and to, you know, let us enjoy our life because since he came, nobody's, you know, feeling good. Even people are with their families not enjoying themselves with their families. And people are not enjoying with their friends. So I'm you know, asking the coronavirus to go away so that we can have a peace of our mind and enjoy our life back in the normal.
That's such a beautiful message. And you know, it points to also some beautiful healing aspect inherent in so much of the African music, inherent in so much of the ancient music, and that's to understand that there's a wider consciousness of this whole affair of life that we're in, and that yes, you can talk to these things. You can talk to these things. You can relate to these things. You can sing to these things. You can dance to these things, and you can say that you want to live. You can say that you love the world, that you love life. You can sing about these things because these things that you sing about actually do protect you. They actually do bring strength to your immunity system. You know, actually having a song that says to the pandemic, be peaceful to me, be peaceful to us.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk into my community, be peaceful.
Exactly.
That is such a beautiful message. It's such a deep message because you see, this world that is outside of us is not outside of us, it's inside of us. This world that we see outside of us is very much inside of us. And if we sing these messages to this world outside of us. We're singing these messages to the world inside of us too. And we are preparing ourselves a way of healing. And music can be that. And you're showing us that with the beautiful sounds of the kora. The sounds itself are healing. When you hear the sound, it brings about peace. But then to actually have those lyrics and other lyrics that you are talking about to bring people into a peaceful state of mind in which they can actually heal and avoid being stressed out. That's incredible. I know that you're going to take a break soon, so I want to ask you, did you want to take your break now, or do you want to do it in 2 minutes?
I'll play one more song, then I'll take a break.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. We will definitely go with the one more song before you take a break. And before you play that one more song, can you just tell the people the fact that, just very quickly before you play your song, about this range? You have deep bass strings on there, and I don't know if people can see what kind of bass notes you're playing on there. You have these bass notes that are hitting really low notes. Sounds like you got a bass player in the room with you, but it's all coming from the kora.
Yes.
Go ahead and show the people your bass notes right quick.
Yeah, that my bass note is right here. So that goes with the. So that's like, you know, I had only 21 strings on the kora, but then I added one bass note so that, you know, to make it a little bit more grooves.
Yeah.
Grooves. So that's what the bass is about. And this one is called Panchang.
All right.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Okay. So
all right.
Okay, now I'm gonna play a song called Jimbo.
So you had a good day.
Huh? It's called Jimbo Sang, which means deep sound or upbeat sound. Mariama, 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 Mariama. Mariama, 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 Mariama. Ah, Padam Yabalama, Nasan Padam Yabalama, Seri Padam Yabalama. Ah, Padam Yabalama, Nasan Padam Yabalama, Nasan Padam Yabalama. walima bolanyala dunia betendine joma labalong jonta labalonga tulo deba kola siba ko kumomoy daliso wala mume woni me ya tekana aniba ji ko de bamba akanda ko de ma malanya bali President la Congo bibi daramo le wonim fatu jawara betentin di nyaro bibi fatu sise sira jamme kema kebiro besantaba abubakar nambal masuku woni na fatu dure nyamo kunu ndam muzike badara dunia ngamba oja dundola ameriki banko kan bejandol killa ye lamin sawane abaraka bunyala duwolum dunia tumani bayo sara kiliya musa anino ya musa ne wanja ka musa aisa bayo kema tumani bayo barka dunia mamar gomis mamar sengor asana dubar kema lum Amerika jangan wadiya dalam mamar sengor yang gua jamme terima solim menge terima mamar jayda terima dunia bari pullo dagata pullo nyamata lalo pullo penata adi ala pullo la man kiyala mume namara non panama bengala jumane jama fana kirila musol ba burmaniya sina so bandani bulikile maliya kurdu dangi gale sababen kuma man kumba sinyan sanyang man kumba sinyan sanyang jallo man saba korin kumbal nin korin dabalu kala ke dugal sansang te kongoli ala wali jamano ke dunia wali jamani banda wali jamani mangkuya mangkumba sinyan gumbo nuinala sandanala ya karnala wenala geremnala dunia kejang cinema ko basise aladala bi mandini ada bidane aballa mume mamuri jayde kaba mani gande kema dia dala nyoyo kijanyo dia dala atala ni maro kijayda wuluta anim Fatima da jayda wuluta anim Maryama jayda wuluta anin tumbulu ke da wuluta masani mori tumbulu ke da sanku ke da njaba kunna janyo dia dala Senegal janyo dia dala karamba ka ila ambassador sangu ke da ini wurala dunia ngakilo blada morning kalala imam Salieu jabi dol ga karamba janke ajaliza kema jata muso kema mama lamini fama dunia sedin ngo fama Fatima fama Maryam fama Khadija fama adala ni sini Maryam wuluda amina ni jabi kema wela sa ko bali alama bango sumala yati alama talala dengo jila kan dunia ni miraz karanda ba Shawala bambo jabi Alaji bunu ta ilaji ma karan sajali dimma karan mamman bin dimma karan sedi dimma karan dawdu jabi dimma karan abdul salam dimma karan gajali dimma karan baga juniya dimma karan sangu dimma karan moriba dimma karan sirfo dimma karan mamad labil dimma ka pole jon moro langali majabi dunia Allah jalori bari kon nati ya granin tayala Baraoye Goli sabari Baraoye Musa Goli sabari Kongo vela dunda Baraoye sabari Makasino daile bang Barawo sabari Kongo vela dunda Musa we sabari Coronavirus is sabari Corona pandemic is sabari COVID-19 Corona sabari COVID-19 Corona sabari Congo be molla Corona sabari Bilenol Sadawan, Corona Sabare, Bodal closing, Corona Sabare. Corona, 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 Pandemic Sabare.
That was beautiful. Wow, man. What's the name of that song, Salieu?
Jumbasan,
Yes. Now, of course,
up big
you have
side.
to tell us what that last lyric was saying because I've heard those lyrics before, but not with Corona pandemic attached to them. And so, what are those last lyrics saying? Because we caught the first part of that lyric, but the sabadi and everything. Tell us what that is.
Yeah, I was singing again, to sell the Corona to be peace with the people.
Ah,
Corona is somebody means, take it easy with the people because people are tired of, being inside the home. People are tired of, being separated from the family. People are tired of, border been closing. No countries will travel to another countries. And people are tired of, no planes, flying. So all this caused because of the pandemic of the corona. So that's what I'm, saying to corona, to, give people their own peace so they can, enjoy the life again.
that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that if you hear that song, and I guess I can speak for most people listen to it, that when you listen to that song is so happy that your heart is dancing when you hear it, and you cannot be sad and hear that music at the same time.
That's right.
Those two events can't exist in the same place.
Exactly.
So if you hear the music, you are going to have to be as joyous as the music is. Your heart's going to be dancing. It's amazing. And if your heart is dancing and if you're joyous, then you're in a state of positivity, which is a state of health. It's a state of immunity. So that's how music like that can heal you and be preventive medicine in this time. And then to have lyrics where you're basically, as I said, telling this thing to be peaceful and to let us go on with our lives as we would love to do it. You know, this is a form of, as I said before, music showing that it is a medicine, even before there was such thing as a doctor you go to an office to see. Music as a form of medicine, because this is a very powerful medicine. If you are hearing lyrics like this and music like this, then yes, it does put a layer of immunity into your mind and heart that has a profound effect on your health. So it's beautiful to hear that and just to experience the fact that as I listen to it, I have to dance. My heart is dancing. My whole internal system is dancing to a song like that. And, you know, that's involuntary. I also want to tell you, Salieu,
Yeah.
that the sound that we're getting from your kora right now is so beautiful because I guess it's because of the acoustic quality and something that's also happening because when it's coming across the internet, it's getting a little bit of an extra kind of buzz on it. So it's actually creating like this kind of mystical sound for the kora that's actually allowing my mind to hear even notes that would not otherwise be heard. I'm be hearing things in the music that is really powerful. So I just want to tell you that we're getting a really incredible way to hear the kora right now over this
Oh,
Zoom experience. You know that? I know it's hard to imagine. You think that something about the Zoom experience is going to keep us from hearing the kora as we should, but
yeah.
we're actually hearing a very beautiful way of hearing this kora right now.
Oh,
I'm
that's good
hearing
to know.
sounds,
Good to know.
yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
Um, Salieu, did you want to take a short break, or you are you good to go for now?
Yes, I want to take a 5 minute break and then come back.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
stay
so
tuned.
so Salieu, as you take your 5 minute break, I'm going to talk to the audience and our people here, the community here.
Okay.
Emmy saying hi.
Hey, Amy, good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Emmy.
Hello,
That's Ronald Grayson.
Emmy John is in the house.
Yeah. Ronald Grayson's hi.
Oh, who's that?
All right. Well, Salieu, you take your break. I'm going to
Okay.
go and talk to the audience here. And when you just signal when you're coming back, okay? All right. Okay, so I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Salieu is taking a short break because, as you know, he's at home. He's got his family there with him. So this is very relaxed. We're very gentle with this. It's almost as if you're in Salieu's house, which is a great experience, and enjoying the kora in a way that would be difficult to enjoy it any other way because you can totally relax yourself and hear this music. And as I said, there's something about the sound of the kora that's coming across in the Zoom experience, which is really incredibly beautiful. I hope you're hearing what I'm hearing. It's just amazing. I'm hearing such rich textures and so many implied sounds. Implied. I know that there are many implied melodies in the kora because that's just the kind of instrument the kora is. But something about the Zoom experience is helping me hear even more implied melodies than I might otherwise hear. So I'm thankful for this opportunity to be able to hear it this way. I'm thankful that you're here and listening too. I'm thankful for everybody that showed up tonight because it's a rich and powerful experience here on Afro Roots Tuesdays. And I just want to remind you that yes, you are at Afro Roots Tuesdays. We do this every other week. We bring artists from all over the world. We are growing. And even though we are at the time cannot bring it to you live, we're bringing it to you over Zoom. I want to tell you that because of the Zoom experience, I've been able to reach out to artists who live in other states and other countries who have agreed to play for Afro Roots Tuesdays. So we are able to do something a little different than what we would do otherwise if we were just, only presenting it live in New York. So on that note, I want to mention that we are in about 2 weeks from now going to have Kebule Kamara, who is a Fina Jali, and he is going to present some really powerful poetry along with music, and that's coming up in about 2 weeks from now. So please mark your calendar. I believe the date will be July 23rd, but don't quote me on that. I'm not looking at the calendar. And then after that, we have an artist who is a Native American artist in early August by the name of Teresa Bear. She sings the most beautiful Native American songs. And she will be joining us here on Afro Roots in August. And we're so looking forward to that too. So please mark your calendars for those two dates, July 23rd and August 4th. And Teresa will be joining us from, I think, another part of upstate New York. But she's very well known, especially throughout the Native American community, for the beautiful music that she does. Teresa Bear Fox, I believe, is her last name too. So we're happy to be able to keep this going, to be able to expand, to work with artists in other countries and other parts of the world, and bring them on to this Zoom experience for Afro Roots Tuesdays. I'm going to do a little bit more housekeeping by asking you to make sure you're on the mailing list by emailing kevinandbira@hotmail.com. Again, I'm going to special thank Susan Macaluso, who is the director of God at Riverside, and I'm going to thank Amanda Hopper, who is actually helping us make this work out tonight. And of course, I'm going to thank you. We've had some very special episodes. We are beginning to upload some of those episodes to YouTube, which is also the beautiful thing about the Zoom experiences. We can actually take the whole recording, the whole Zoom recording, the whole video recording of Zoom, and put that up on YouTube now. So if you happen to have missed Alessandra Belloni, who was here about 2 weeks ago, if you happen to have missed her, you can find that on YouTube. I highly recommend that you go see that because it's a very in-depth discussion and music relating to the Black Madonna. A lot of people are aware of the Black Madonna, and a lot of people aren't. But so if you aren't so aware of it, please go to check out the YouTube of Alessandra Belloni's talk, because we bring up a lot of very important issues in relation to what's going on today with the Black Lives Matter movement, and with the whole movement toward ending racial systemic injustice. So there's a lot of powerful music and a lot of powerful words in relation to that, which you can find right on YouTube. And of course, one of the things I mentioned before earlier today was that when we wanted to promote Alessandra's event performance, Facebook censored the promotion. They said they would not allow us to promote that because they felt that what Alessandra was saying was political. And meanwhile, there's nothing political about the Black Madonna. That's has to do with a religion that goes very deep, that connects to the ancient Egyptian religion of Isis. So that is such a part of the human story on earth that for Facebook to censor the promotion of that, in fact, that censorship is a political move, not anything Alessandra was talking about. And so, again, I say definitely join the mailing list so that you don't have to deal with any other things that might be censored down the road as far as what Afro Roots Tuesdays produces, because we are grassroots experience. We are dealing with real story, our story, not his story. So please, stay in touch with Afro Roots Tuesdays. And speaking of our story and real story, that's one of the things that we're experiencing with Salieu Suso too today, because he is a jolly, and that is a griot. A griot is somebody who, in West African culture, carries on the stories and the traditions of the music, the dance, the public speaking, and peacemaking. Hi, Salieu's family coming on to wave at us. So the griot tradition is something that's been going on for since at least the 13th century, 14th century in West Africa, but it's been going on longer than that because, of course, you can't put a specific date on these things. And the griot tradition and the concept, as we talked about before, of praise singing, are going hand in hand. You can't separate those two concepts, and the idea that history is something that is passed on from generation to generation, and is passed on musically so that we don't forget, because who's going to forget a song? Everybody remembers music. That's how we learn our ABCs. We learn through music. So that's the power of a griot tradition, which is the tradition that is so strong throughout West Africa and throughout all of Africa, for that matter. All parts of Africa have some form of a griot tradition, some form in which music is carrying the history and the legacy of the people in a way that keeps people informed of the great works of their ancestry. So yeah, it's beautiful to understand how this process works, and that we're actually working with someone from that lineage, a griot of the jelly tradition, Salieu Suso today. So yes, in the meantime, while Salieu is preparing to come back, and he'll be back in a minute, I'm also going to give a little pause here because a lot of us are relaxing. We've heard have heard some of the most beautiful kora music. I can tell you my heart was dancing, and I'm feeling very relaxed and at peace. So we've heard that music, and it's already in us. I have a feeling that Salieu is getting ready to come back and join us. I see him coming to the screen with the kora right now. So let's all just take a deep breath and relax and get ready for part 2. Salieu, are you ready to join us? We have to unmute you. Okay, we hear you, Salieu.
Yeah,
Yes, we hear you.
good. All right. Okay, now this piece is called Jula Jekere. Jula Jekere, like I said earlier, most of the songs are dedicated to important people, kings and queens, and sometimes public advocates. So this particular song called Jula Jekere Bio. So Jula Jekere is one of the prince that, king's nephew who has a very powerful, trader. He's a very, very powerful trader. Trader that, do business between the countries and outside countries. It's a long story, but then I'll just give you the brief idea of the song. Salanyina, ajula sala. Adabo wale mazaye, jula sala. Adabo esabayo ye, tumani bayo besala. Adabo esabayo ye, tumani bayo besala nyina. Adabo mbalu bayo ye, mamuli kama de besala nyina. Mbalu bayo, mamuli kama de besala. Mbalu bayo, sana jabal besala nyina. Dunia umbalu bayo. Wala ni sana bayo wuluta ni mbaku bayo wuluta ani adama bayo wuluta. Ye julo besala. Dunia nganyindela ko julo dala kanyala mati jula kumfiti banna ninda jula banna. Dunia tumani bayo siadul. Abaraka jalol ye zil payment la. Asabayo kema tuman bayo baraka jalodia salibola. Anilla mine sawane baraka jalole salibola. Maraban dambajang abaraka jalola salibola. Dambajang banna jilaka bali kanira matiki jilaka bali. Dunia wadula bajilo panajila. Alaji singa julo bezalla. Adalanda janju madiya dala sena bukema nurala. Adalani ndora dawa bulu danju ya kusada kono. Alafo wale manzaye wajulo besalla. Alafo nyadi manzaye sandu manso jimo manjaula. Alafo nyadi manzaye wajulo besalla. Wale manza julo besalla. Thank you.
Yeah, that was another beautiful song.
Yay!
Yes. So I guess I have to ask you again, what are you saying in that song?
Okay. Like I said, that song is a traditional song.
Uh-huh.
It's one of the prince that has potential power of that God provided him, and then all of a sudden he feel like he's one of the great king. So at one point he felt like in Muslims we celebrate Prophet Ibrahim's legacy. We call it Salo. So in this Salo, every year when the people going to Mecca for Hajj, so we do the celebration at the same time the people go to Mecca. So people are doing that back home. So because he had the power, he decided he's going to make his own Salah, his own festival. That festival will be greater than the festival that all the Muslims do. So that's why the griot composed this song for him. But in that event, that incident, he has did something over the control of human rights. So he wanted for his festival, he wanted to kill 100 cows, 100 goats, 100 dogs, 100 children.
Woo!
So when he mentioned 100 children, that's why people comes out with a, outrage. Said this man, sounds like something is abnormal. So we have to come to him to talk to him, because to kill animals, that's okay, but to kill human beings, that's out of context. So, but then because those days he has a power, nobody have a power or have a potential to face him, to tell him what he said is not right, is not good. So nobody have that power. So what they do, so they went to the griot, they went to the Jalis. They said, now, Jalis, this is your job now, because this man has so much power because he sells gunpowders. So he said he has so much power, nobody can talk to him. He will kill you. But you griot people, you can go and talk to him through your way of praising people and making people calm down. So that's the time the griot came together, and then with the kora. And then at the first they went to him, they talked to him as a person to person, but he said no. Then one of the siblings tell the griot, okay, I think you guys, he listened to you guys. So what you should do, I think you should come back again, and to talk to this guy seriously, to stop what he's trying to do. Then now the griot come together. One of the elder griot said, you know what? Now when we go with the instrument. We go with our instrument, and then we played instrument before we ask him or before we beg him. We played instrument, and they did that. They went with the kora. When they close to the kingdom, they start playing the music, with their horses. Some Jalis are on top of the horses. They walk toward his compound. So they singing, and then they're telling him, you are the greatest, you are the greatest. But what you said, that's nobody said that since the beginning of the life. Nobody said they're going to kill, human beings except children, because nobody knows the children. The children are our future, parents. How are you going to kill children? But they do that in the singing, while they're singing, and now, they feel like it's coming down. They feel like it's coming down, and they keep singing. They keep singing. Now they're telling the neighboring states, because that's the different states. They're telling, in the singing, they're telling him the neighboring states one by one. They said the neighboring state names are Willie state. They all agree that you're going to celebrate your festival. So no problem. Though the Sandu state, they also agree that you're going to celebrate your festival. No problem. So all the states agree with you, except one thing, to kill the human beings. So we come to you to let the children go. You can kill the animals, but not the children. Then he listened to the griot. So at the end, he said, okay, but one thing I said I will do that, because when the people do the festival, that time the moon, the festival time, the moon didn't rise that much. So, he said he's going to make a light, a big light, so that people can see the sky. What that means, so the gunpowder that he sell, and he sold, the gunpowder that he sold, he put a fire on that gunpowder. The whole gunpowder, popped up, with a fire. So the children jump in, there's a light that's lighted, and everybody was happy that, he released the children. So that's the story of the song. it has a long story, but that's what the capture of story I can tell you right now.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
In fact, what I hear in the thread of that story is the power and the respect and the healing capacity of music in that story, because no one could persuade and no one could actually talk to this person. That they were so powerful, no one could talk to them. But they knew that through the music, they could get through to him. They knew that there was something that was above everyone's head, and that music could reach and could bring that energy. It could speak to the people. It could be that thing that influences everybody, that takes a person's mind that seems to be so bent on ill will and turn that mind around. It's the power of music. And the jelly knows, is in touch, must be in touch with the power of music. And that's their service to the community, is to bring that influence, that influence. One of my musician friends in South Africa said, there's no end to the good that can be done by music. No end to the good that could be brought about by music. And so at that, in that story, I hear that because they've actually found the way to actually be able to deliver a message to him, to actually turn his mind around. And it was through the music, because once the melodies start reaching and they start helping the mind to relax and helping the mind to find a sweet part of whatever it is that they're going through. And so music is therapy in any part of the world or any part of the activities of humans. Music is that thing that can help us really move to a better way of living. And that's beautiful in that story. Um, we're getting towards the last final minutes of Afro Roots Tuesdays. And is there something you would like to say, or is there another song you'd like to play before we wrap up the night, Salieu?
Yes. Because our favorite song. You know that song, right?
Yes, I know.
Okay.
The only thing is I can't join you because on Zoom, none
Yeah.
of the timings, you can't play anything together because Zoom has different rates of the internet.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
what happens is songs wind up being out of phase
Exactly.
if you try to play together. So if you play something, it would have to continue to be solo, or maybe I could join you only on like back and forth trades. But Zoom doesn't allow people to play together. You have to use another sort of platform for that.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
so we are in the last final session of the program, right?
yeah, this will be the closing song, and we'll have probably some final words before we close out. But even before you play the final song, Salieu, I'm gonna tell you that this has been an incredibly beautiful experience, a very deep experience. I have performed with you for years now, but I can tell you I haven't heard the kora like this. There's something really special about this experience over Zoom.
Yeah.
Hearing it just relaxed in my room with my headphones on, as I said, hearing implied melodies that are just as a result probably of this kora coming acoustically through the internet like this. Um, it's really incredible. It's really incredible, and I want to thank you. And before you play your last song, do you have recordings out there that people can get of your music?
Yeah. On my website, or I have two recordings. They're all on my website. One is called Source of Goodness, and griot, Salieu Suso griot. So my website is salieususo.com. So all my recordings there. And yeah, so I'm happy for everyone to join with us tonight. And this difficult time of the pandemic of coronavirus, see, you know, we are separating, we don't have much time together, but through the songs, you know, we can feel the love and we can feel the, you know, connection and all that, you know. So I pray that coronavirus will go away soon, and then we can come back together, you know, as a whole, as a, you know, family, as a, you know, people, as you know, usually we do. So my song will be based on the, prayer song, and the song is called Simaya and Jatakendea.
Yes.
So Simaya means long life, and Jatakendea means good health.
Good health.
So together, these two things can make better life and make a felicity, make people happy. But as a traditional proverb, Mandinka proverb said, long life without good health, it doesn't benefit the person. And also good health, alone without long life that's a very short time for the people. So that's why put this together, long life and good health. So when we have long life and good health, we are good to go. So everybody, Simaya and Jatakenda. Usually, this it goes call and respond, but since we're in Zoom, like Kevin said, sometimes, I experience that. Sometimes I've been teaching, people in the songs, and when I sing over here, and then when they sing over there, it's kind of like, not coming together. So I think that's because of the internet connection. But if you can sing where you are, Simaya, Jata Kendea, or if you can say Jata Kendea, that would be great. So, all right, that's a song of Simaya and Jata Kendea. Everybody, sisters, brothers, mothers, fathers, grandfathers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, great-grandfathers, great-great-great, great-great-great, ancestors, ancestors. Simaya, 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 Aladwa Simaya la Africa, Aladwa Simaya la Northern America, Aladwa Simaya la Southern America, Simaya, Aladwa Simaya la Europa, Aladwa Simaya la Australia, Simaya, Aladwa Simaya la Antarctica, South Pole, North Pole, Simaya, 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 Allahu Simaya, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin, Jangaba Masoya Kadrullah. صراط المستقيم أمام دلولا سلكم لكم سوايا سوايا إيه سوايا أنا Afro Roots سوايا Afro Roots Riverside كذا سوايا نيوك زري Susana Magaduzo, Kevin Nathaniel, Simaya, Andara, Yamablia, Dabia, Balamume, Simaya, Simaya, Andara, Simaya, Bedumana. La banga na jama banama la misa wale abarka bunya la wolum adara bayo sara tumani bayo asa bayo kula dala kula mana jaba siriman kwadi tangala bibi tangala animbira do tangala kulo nene moji baba moji bengal bonata jawru balle 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 salla balle la jawru balle baba balle la jawru balle kumma balle la jawru balle alala bande borom Simaya, Simaya. This ending part has a special contribution to George Floyd. And all the George Floyd and all the victims of Black Lives Matter. Black life matters. 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 George Floyd matters. Black life matters. George Floyd matters. Black life matters. Black life matters. 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 Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin said Black life matters. Malcolm X. Malcolm X said Black life matters. McEvers. Patrick Lumumba. Hey, Walibe Jamani Banda. Walibe ko Black life matters. Sirimamba Mbake. Wabanako Sirimamba say Black life matters. Atalanding Oson. Banaya for Africa. Kwame Nkrumah, Gaddafi, Muammar Gaddafi. They all say Black lives matters. Black people, Africa, Black lives matter. Africa, Black lives matters. Africa, Black life matters. Europa, that Black life matters. Australia matters. Black life matters. Northern America matters. Black life matters. Southern America matters. Black life matters. Asia matters. Black life matters. Black life matters. Antarctica matters. Black life. South Pole matters. Black life. South Pole. North Pole. Black life matters. Black life matters. Black life matters. Black life matters. Matters.
Oh my God, Salieu, you just filled everybody's hearts just now. Thank you so much. That was such a beautiful song, and the way you ended that by tying it all to the present day. Of course, that's what the jelly does. The jelly speaks for the here and now. The jelly talks about the things that the people need to hear, the healing message. So thank you for being the griot and the jelly for us today. When I say jelly, everybody, that's Jolly, Jelly, DJELI. Thank you so much, Salieu. The music was beyond beautiful. I think it healed everybody's hearts. I want to remind everybody that Salieu's music is available through his website. Please check out his website. Please donate to the artists. Artists of all kinds, no matter what walk of the arts they're in, they need your assistance right now because, of course, the work that artists do is to bring people together, and the work that artists do is about being with people and creating an energy, a positive energy with people in the present. And all that work, of course, is being shut off during the shutdown. Artists are not able to bring people together. They're not able to do the workshops or the performances or the gatherings or to play for people's weddings or funerals or whatever. They're not able to do the work that it takes to heal the human heart. They're not able to do that with it around the community the way they would do otherwise. But they are able to go on Zoom. They are able to go on the internet and do this work over the internet. But please, every artist right now and every arts organization, they really need help through this time period to stay on the front line so that when we get over this ride, they're all here with us in full colors. So again, I want to thank, of course, I want to thank Salieu Suso. Thank you so much, Salieu. And I want to thank God at Riverside. I want to thank Susan Macaluso, director of God at Riverside. Of course, I thanked her already, but you know that name, director of God at Riverside, who actually gave us the space for Afro Roots Tuesday starting from September of 2013, and which brings us here. So I see Susan. Hi, Susan. Susan's in the house with us tonight. Great. And so I'm thanking Susan Macaluso for being instrumental in making this all possible. I'm thanking Greg Cage. Greg Cage is not with us at this moment, but he is always with us. He's the sound man extraordinaire for Afro Roots. And of course, as we move into our next phases of Afro Roots, Greg Cage will be with us. And I want to thank Amanda Hopper, who's been so important to making sure that we keep this thing well organized and keep this thing flowing and growing. So thank you, Amanda Hopper. And of course, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming to Afro Roots Tuesdays, because without you, we don't exist. In a way, this is your work. This is your imagination that has created all of this beautiful music that can now come to you. So thank you for being here for Afro Roots, and thank you for supporting Afro Roots. Please tell other people about this. We'll be back in 2 weeks, as I mentioned in the chat, with Fina Jelly, Kebele Kamara, and you're going to see perhaps some musicians who you know already working with him too. And he's going to be doing a lot of amazing poetry along with great music. So please join us in 2 weeks with Fina Jelly Kebele Kamara. And that date is July 21st. I quoted the wrong date earlier in the night, but I checked my Tuesdays out and I see it's July 21st. So yes, thank you so much. Is there anything you would like to say as we close the night off, Salieu? But you believe me, you said it already. That last song, you said it already. But is there anything you'd like to say before we close the night off?
Yes, I just want to say that with this difficult in time of COVID-19, I wish, all of us in a good prayer that soon we get out of this COVID-19, and then we can get back on track for our social, activities and friendship, and work together again, and to do whatever we wanted to do in our lives. So that's my main goal. That's my prayers tonight. And then also I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. This is very special because it's a last minute, program. So, and then I feel like, people are very, very, happy with the Afro Roots. And with that, I want to thank Afro Roots, to get continue with this wonderful program, so that we'll be having fun together again and again. And thank you for everyone.
Thank you so much, Salieu. And thank you, everyone. Please have a beautiful, fun, healing night, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Amanda, you got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Very welcome, Amanda. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Hi, Susan.
Thank you.
Hi, Joyce.
All right.
Beautiful.
Hi, Jackie. Bob and Billy's.
Bob and
Beautiful.
Billy.
Hey,
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Susan. Yeah,
I
we're
know
all
I can't see
here.
the top of my head, but it's Alexis.
Alexis. All right.
Great, great.
Oh, Doro. Doro.
Oh, yes, yes.
Hi. Yeah.
Woo.
Love you guys and thanks so much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
All right.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Very welcome. Very welcome.